Hey grade 10s, welcome back. It's our last lesson of the unit. Woohoo! I am going to break this lesson up into 2 videos though, because it is a little bit long for one video, so just a heads up on that, okay? And then at the end of this lesson, there is a pretty long you try worksheet, and again, at the end of next video, I will show you all those answers, or post a screenshot in our Teams page. Okay, all right, so we're going to talk about net pay and deductions today. So as we've learned in the previous parts of our unit, we know that our gross pay is how much you earn before any sort of deductions, but we haven't actually talked about deductions yet, and so today we are going to talk about them. Okay, so deductions essentially are amounts of money that get removed from your paycheck. Okay, and there are some options here that are already filled in your notes, and those are optional deductions, such as medical insurance, so that's like to go to the dentist or the optometrist, that kind of thing. Union dues, if you're part of a union, private pension, parking fees, there could be other things. These are just examples. And then these are the mandatory deductions, so these are the really important ones, okay, because they apply to everybody, and we're going to be focusing on those in this lesson, although we will cover some of these as well, just in some examples. All right, so let's talk about what federal and provincial taxes are, what CPP is, and what EI is. So federal and provincial taxes is income tax. So essentially, a portion of everybody's earnings, like everybody who makes money in Canada, goes to the government, pays a little bit that goes to the government, and then they use that for things like our universal health care, for keeping up the roads, for building public venues like libraries or pools or that kind of thing. And we pay a little bit of tax to the provincial government and a little bit of tax to the federal government. Okay, Canada Pension Plan, for short, CPP, and that's what I'll be calling it for the rest of the unit. Just because it's easier to say. They are a fund that provides a monthly pension to workers who have retired or who are over, I think it's 61. And every Canadian who pays into CPP while they are working can earn CPP once they retire or cross the age limit. So, for example, I currently, off of my paycheck, get a little bit of money taken off, and it goes to CPP, and then when I retire, or when I get old enough, then the government will give me monthly payments, that's called a pension, to help support me when I am older than working age. Okay, employment insurance, called EI, is a fund that provides income to workers who lose their job. And the key thing here is through no fault of their own. Okay, so that means they didn't quit. It's when you get fired or laid off. So everybody who got laid off during this crazy COVID-19 time is eligible for EI, and many, many people are receiving it right now. And it's to help you be able to pay your bills and pay for groceries before you get your next job. Okay. The main thing I want to talk about here, or make sure we understand, is that gross pay, so that's your paycheck amount, minus deductions equals the net pay, and the net pay is what you take home, okay? So a lot of people will call this your take-home money. That's very messy. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's do a few examples. Beth earns a weekly salary of $825. Her deductions are shown determine her net weekly pay. Okay, so these deductions come off her paycheck every single week. We want to figure out how much is she making at the end of the week, like how much is her take-home money. Okay, so with deductions that are already in the form of dollars, like all of these, all we have to do is subtract them. Okay, so it's really not so hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to take her gross pay, right, that's from here, and then subtract all of her deductions. Okay, so we're going to subtract $12.63, we're going to subtract $36.14, we're going to subtract 10, oh boy, that's not a 0, 10, there we go, 9.50, we're going to subtract $15, we're going to subtract $16.25. Okay, and that is going to give us, let's see, I'm going to work this out on my calculator here, you can do the same on yours. Let's see, 36.14, 15, and 16.25. Okay, that leaves Beth with $635.48 per week. Okay, one thing to note, if you would prefer to add all these up and then subtract that lump sum, you can. Okay, I just wrote them out this way because that's also a very valid way to write this out. Okay, so there we go. All right, Tyler's monthly salary is $4,760. His deductions are as shown. Determine his net. That is a typo. I apologize. That is supposed to say monthly pay. Okay, so you're going to notice here this time, instead of it being in dollars like it was in Beth's examples, all the deductions are in percentages in Tyler's example. Okay, so what we need to do first before we can do any deducting is we actually need to calculate how many dollars that is. Okay, so we're going to calculate how much is 1.58%, how much is 5.25%, how much is 15%. And you're going to notice that Tyler is only paying the mandatory deductions. He's not paying any optional ones like Beth was, which were company pension and disability insurance. And that is fine. Okay, not every employer charges optional deductions. All right, so remember that to find 1.58% of something, we're going to move the decimal place 2 to the left. There we go. And then we're going to multiply that by 4,760 to find the total. Okay, so I'm taking my calculator, 0.0158 times 4,760 gives me $75.21. Okay, that's me rounding, of course, because money only has 2 decimal places. Okay, then the next one, I'm going to choose and change colors so it's really clear for you guys. 5.25%, again, we're going to move the decimal place 2 to the left. We always want to do that when we calculate percentages. And again, we're just calculating it off of 4,760. And that gives me $249.90. Again, making sure to round to 2 decimal places. Okay, and then last but not least, income tax is 15%. Again, I'm going to move that 2 decimal places to the left to get my percentage multiplicator. My goodness, I can't speak, you guys. I'm sorry. And when I multiply by 15%, I'm going to get $714. Okay, so now when we want to look at Tyler's total, or his net pay, pardon me, that's going to be equal to 4,760 minus all of those things, okay? And like I was saying in the last example, if you wanted to, you could add up, all of the deductions, like I'm going to show you here, and then subtract just that one number from the gross pay, okay? So if I take 714 and I add 249.90 and 75.21, that gives me $1,039.11. Okay, so then over here, I am just going to subtract that exact amount from the gross pay, that 4,760, to get his net pay. Okay, and that number, once I plug it into my calculator, is $3,720.89. Okay, there we go. All right, next example here is complete the chart below. So we're looking at Jem and Arthur's gross income, their deductions, and their net pay. You can see that we don't know Arthur's deductions and we don't know Jem's net pay. We want to figure those out. Now remember what we talked about up here, that gross pay minus deductions is equal to net pay. So we can see that we have those exact 3 things here, right? So we know that gross pay or gross income, that means the same thing, minus deductions is equal to net pay. Okay, so we're going to be able to do that for every example here. So this gross income of Jem's minus his deductions here is equal to his net pay. So all I have to do in my calculator is take $395.52, subtract $82.98, and get his net pay, which is $312.54. Okay. For Arthur's example, it's a little bit less straightforward, but still pretty easy. We're saying subtract something is equal to $730.47. So to find that, we are just going to subtract $730.47 from this, and that will give us our deductions amount. Okay, so if you want to do like a thought bubble, you know I'm a fan of those, you're welcome to, oh, sorry guys, there we go. Okay, thought bubble. We're going to take that total of $936.50. We're going to subtract the other number of $730.47. And then that is going to give us our answer for the deductions amount, which is $206.03. Okay, so I can put that number here in the deductions column. Voila. All right, the last example we're going to do in this video is here with Diana. Okay, then we are going to look at these charts that I'm talking about in this paragraph in the next video because they take a little bit of time to explain, so I want to make a separate video for that part of the lesson. Okay, and then we just have this last page of examples. All right, so Diana, she is an electrician, which is awesome, and we need electricians in the world. That's why it's awesome. She makes $69,250 per year. She pays $678 in income tax biweekly. What is her tax rate? Okay, so remember that the amount of tax you pay divided by the amount you are paid times 100. I can't write. Oh my goodness. Times, there we go, 100% is equal to tax rate. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for this tax rate. So we are going to use, this formula, but the first thing we need to do is figure out how much tax is she paying per year. See how this tells you her annual salary, but this only tells you bi-weekly how much tax she's paying. So we need to put those into the same amount, okay? So the first thing we need to do is figure out how much tax is she paying every year. That's one option, or you can figure out how much does she earn bi-weekly, okay? So either is totally fine. They're both good options. I will do both to show you, okay? So option 1. There we go. We're going to take that 69,250 and divide it by, do you remember how many bi-weekly periods there are in a year? Think about it for a second. Okay, I hope the number you came up with is 26, because that would be true. And when you do that division, 69,250, I can't type in my calculator, you guys, 69,250, there we go, divided by 26 is equal to $2,663.46. Okay, option 2. And again, as usual, I don't care which one you use, they're both good. Okay, is to figure out how much tax she's paying per year. So we're going to take that $678 and we're going to multiply that by how many biweekly periods there are in a year, which is 26. And when I do that, I get 17,628. Okay. So now the next thing we need to do is this, and that's going to give us our tax rate. Now, warning or heads up, okay? If you use option 1, then you need to use both the biweekly statements, okay? But if you used option 2, you need to use both the annual statements, and that's because you have to talk about the same thing, right? Like paying, how much tax do you pay in 2 weeks corresponds with how much money do you earn in 2 weeks, and how much tax do you pay in a year corresponds with how much money do you earn in a year, okay? So I prepared the example with, which one did I prepare it with? Sorry, just looking at my paper here. I prepared it with the annual value, okay? So if you chose to work with the bi-weekly value, just remember that your calculation numbers will look a little bit different, but your answer will be the same. Okay, so tax is equal to, or tax rate, I guess. I'll maybe write that instead. That's more accurate. Okay, so rate is equal to the tax amount. So that is 17,628 divided by the total amount that she's paid per year, which is 69,250. And then we're going to multiply that by 100, okay? And so first we're going to get that decimal, so 17,628 divided by 69,250 gives me 0.2546. Okay, I'm rounding, that's fine. And when we multiply that by 100, that's going to give me 25.5%. Okay, and for the record, that's actually that's probably fairly average, actually. I don't have all the tax rates memorized, but if you earn about $70,000 a year, you're going to end up paying about 25% tax, maybe a little bit more. I don't remember the exact numbers like I'm saying, but that is normal. Okay, so I didn't just like make this example up with a crazy number. That is actually true. Okay, there we go. Like I said, the rest of this lesson I'll do in another video, so make sure that you understand what's going on in here, and feel free to do some of the you try examples. This example, and this example all have to do with the lesson we just completed. Okay, I'll see you next video.